Incredible! This is
The Grove Podcast.
Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 123 of The Grove Podcast. Now, I hope you're doing well and feeling a bit better than I am at least. I'm a bit full of cold and on the limb sit, and I'm a tad knackered after a whirlwind, yet superb 24 hours going to watch the Arsenal in Bilbao. So all very much worth it, but my mood has also been dampened by the fact I've just seen Liverpool score another lucky goal. The luck just keeps riding with them, so they're 1-0 up against Atletico in the 5th minute. But anyway, we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about about a hard-fought win for Arsenal against Bilbao, and then we're going to also look ahead to the big fixture against Man City at the weekend. And oh my God, it's now 2-0. Right, I should just turn that off. Fuck's sake. Right, all right, and you can hear him in the background joining me to hopefully cheer me up, even though we won 2-0. Liverpool just pissed me off so much at the moment. And to help me also remember what happened last night against Bilbao is Kuziva. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Also a little bit annoyed by this lucky team, but it is what it is. We are here for Arsenal, not for Liverpool. I'm good,
Indeed. Look, I'm actually keen to hear your view on last night's game, because watching on TV is obviously a different perspective to experiencing it, and also you're a bit further away, and we get a bit of the bigger picture side of things, but we maybe miss some of the nuance, particularly around maybe the ref or the gamemanship. Bilbao players, like, so from what I've read, I said, I didn't notice that. So hopefully you can bring that flavour to it. Yes, fingers crossed. And as always, if just before we get on with the main thing, if you can follow, like, subscribe, rate, comment, all the usual jazz on the podcast apps, we really, really great appreciate it, and it helps us get noticed, get into the ears of other listeners. So appreciate that if you can do that. Right, so let's get on with the show. And as we always do, what was your highlight and low light from yesterday's game?
Highlight was seeing our depth do what they do, and that's come through and support the team. I saw a very interesting image yesterday. Was it earlier today, where it showed all our key players that are injured, and it said, this season we actually have a solution for this. So that has to be a highlight. Low light is a bit of a cop-out because it was a good night. My prediction was 3-0 and it was 2-0, so not too happy about that. But it is what it is.
There we go. As low lights go, that's fine. I'll take it. So look, for me, obviously my highlight was being able to go to the game. I feel very privileged and fortunate that I'm able to do so one way or another. And it was a great trip with fellow Grovers. So we met. I went over with Alan and we met Matt, one of the Bristol Mats, and Henry, and we were also meant to meet Darwit, but he just had some fun and games, and he ended up being in the home end, even though he had a ticket for the away end. So that's a story for another day. We met and chatted with a lot of other Arsenal fans. We had a few beers before and after the game. The pinchos were fantastic, and if you don't know, they're the sort of Basque region's version of tapas, and they were absolutely delicious. And look, just the general atmosphere was great. We're all very friendly. Everyone was mixed together. Yeah, Arsenal fans, Bilbao fans, and there was no animosity, and it was sort of quite a noticeably younger crowd, especially after the game. You could really see that in the streets. They were just sort of mingling and chatting and stuff like that. So, but walking to the stadium itself, the San Mamés is pretty cool. It's sort of one of those ones that lights up on the outside and color changes a bit like Bayern's Allianz Arena. And then just the noise and the atmosphere inside was incredible. But from both sets of supporters, it was so loud. I mean, maybe you can hear my voice is a bit croaky. That's not just from the cold, but that's just from all the singing and chanting. And we were trying to make ourselves heard because it's sort of enclosed and stuff. There's a bit of a hole in it, and the noise they were making was so loud. My ears were ringing. It was so loud. I don't think I've ever been to a game when the atmosphere and the crowd has been that loud, and it was incredible. So very fortunate to have been there, and obviously the win helps. That would be my highlight. My low light, apart from feeling crap and being knackered, I think it was some of the yellow cards. I think we got 3 of them. It's like a minor gripe. Some of them were innocuous. it just frustrates me because some of the things you'll be avoiding, and hopefully they don't come to bite us later on in the competition. The accumulation of cards. I think it was Rice, and you can tell me whether it was deserved or not. Any of them, I can't remember how Zubi and Madueke got it, but the Rice one was the one that particularly everyone's going, yeah, that's just a homer decision. But we'll get to that. So in terms of the lineup, it was quite strong. It was very strong. I think it had our strongest lineup given who was available. So Raya, Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel Calafiori, Zubimendi, Merino, Rice, Eza, Gyökeres, and Madueke. So what did you make of the lineup when you heard that? What did you think of it? I can't hear you.
Yeah, strong group to set the tone of the game. I wasn't surprised by the lineup. It was expected. Also, really cool to see Eza play his very first Champions League game, and Madueke also playing his very first Champions League game. He's played qualifiers before, but he's never actually played, the OG. But yeah,
Yeah.
no real surprises. And obviously, it's nice to have the finishers, as Arteta labeled them, on the bench who came and finished. So good lineup, good bench.
Yeah, but
Happy.
given City at the weekend, and given, I don't know, I was a little bit surprised he went so strong. I am and I'm not surprised because it's City, but then again, it's Champions League, and in the first, and Arteta likes to go strong, particularly early. So it was sort of like I was expecting maybe a bit of a. I think if White was fit, White might have played instead of Timber, because maybe that would have been, and then maybe obviously Marino's obviously coming. Odegaard's not playing, and maybe you could have had an argument for Martinelli over Eza, but yeah, he wants to. We've got 5 days to recover for the next game, so
Yeah,
a little bit surprised, but not so much. And then we've got and you said a very strong bench.
yeah. We should also remember that this club is not a bad club. They've started the season quite well. 3 wins, 1 loss, and I think he respected them. And it's also an away game, right? We are doing better in away games, but it showed respect. And I'm hoping that the next 5 days to rest before the City game will be enough. But yeah, we should. Yeah, it's good respect that we showed.
Yeah, no, he did, and I'll touch on a bit. So, what were your? I mean, in terms of the overall game, I mean the stats were quite strong in our favour. We had 62% possession to their 38. We had 1.28 xG to their 0.35. Okay, we both had about 11 shots, but we had 6 on target. They had 2. We created 3 big chances. They created nothing. We missed 2 big chances, and I'm figuring they might be the header Gyökeres headers. Fairly even in terms of fouls and corners. So it seems like it was a dominant from a statistical point of view. But what did your overall thoughts of the game? How did you feel it went? What did you make of our performance on the night?
It it felt that we weren't fluid for a while. It felt a bit scrappy, and a bit scrappy in parts. But we also showed our resilience. We showed that we are good at defending, probably the best in the world right now. And I think Bilbao's intensity was just, it was quite intense. And the fans, I'm sure, helped a lot. I didn't realize how loud it was in the stadium, and for you to say it was as insane as it was after we both experienced Madrid last year is saying something, right? So a bit iffy, a bit scrappy, but I'm glad that we held our own and managed to pull something out of the bag. Because the goal we scored was on transition, and it was just. I don't want to say it's luck, just the whole process of that happening, but it wasn't something that we usually do in terms of build up play, right? So that's how I saw the game end to end. Frustrating, but we made it through because of our resilience.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you were saying I don't think it was ever going to be an easy game. I think it was Bilbao's first game. I mentioned in the last pod, it was Bilbao's first game back in the Champions League for 11 years. So they were always going to make an occasion of it, and they said the crowd were well up for it, and so on. And And look, as you said, yeah, they've had a decent start to La Liga. They've won 3 games. Okay, they lost 1. But even at home in European matches, they've only lost 6 times out of 76. So it's not an easy place to go. And I think Champions League is just a bit different. There's something a bit different about it. So I think, we want to go in strong. We want to, want to get onto a good foot. And also just to make sure that if we stack up our points now, come January when it gets a bit busy with FA Cup, with other competitions, that we've got our points in the bag and we can then rest players for someone like the Kairat game. And look, we've been here before when we've played these teams, these types of teams on the big occasion, on their big night. So I remember Lens 2 years ago when we lost 2-1 at home in the group stages in the first game, and yeah, we stuffed them when they came to our place, but we went to their place. I remember their crowd being really vociferous and really loud and really up for it, and it's just different gravy when in the Champions League in these places. So I think, yeah, you're right. We had to respect that. I think it was a mature performance and understand the environment we were playing in, and to manage the game. So I think some of the bits, the frustrating bits, and I got frustrated. We were like, come on, let's try and be a bit more progressive. Actually, we're just trying to quieten the crowd down, keep hold of the ball, quiet, and it did work. And don't give them anything to give them energy to get excited about. So yeah, hard fought win. We battled. Wasn't the best performance. You said it was scrappy. So yeah, no, I'm sort of really pleased at the end, and I think it was just, again, managing the game, managing how we do that, and it wasn't a game for pretty patterns. It just, and they didn't. I don't know how. Again, in terms of what I noticed, say in the crowds, you can see the bigger picture. There was a couple of things, and mate, I saw some highlights on TV. You didn't. The intensity within which Bilbao played, they were like attacking in packs. So whenever Madueke got the ball or Eze got the ball, 2-3 players going out really quickly. And I don't know if that came across. I mean, how did it come across on TV in terms of like who was the better team, who was dominating? What was the impression that you were getting from the commentators or whatever like that?
Yeah, so I mean, their pressing was intense. It reminded me a bit of the PSG pressing when we played them in the Champions League. They were all over the place, and they obviously had a game plan. They probably watched that tape and they said, "This is how you beat Arsenal."
Yeah.
And I think most people probably saw the same thing. But yeah, we managed to hold our own, and I'm glad that we didn't make any lapses, or we didn't have any lapses of concentration, because when you're being pressed like that, it's very easy to get frazzled, and then you lose concentration. One bad miss pass, boom, these guys are on a counter, transition, goal, or shot on target. So yeah, I mean, they came with a plan and they executed it really well. But we are arguably, one of the best teams in the world with the best defense in the world, and we held our own as we should. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what people are forgetting. Everyone's focusing on our attack at the moment, and right, we aren't fluid yet in midfield. We're still discovering Gyökeres. He's discovering who we are. We got our front line is a new front line. Yeah, so would you expect? But everyone's forgetting we are so good. We've let in 1 goal, and that's like a worldie from a free kick in 5 games. And 3 of those games have been at intense away grounds, like Man United, who always step up for us. At Anfield, at a place like this, it's just incredible that let's not forget about that aspect of it that enables us to then go forward and gives us that really good break, that really good base to play from. So I was really, really impressed, and I think with that game plan, again, that maturity. Again, we've been here before. Again, this game also reminded me of the Porto game, because they were playing with if you looked at all the players, it was just a strip of players across the middle of the park, and there was loads of space in between and behind, and I think we were trying to be patient when to exploit it, or maybe it's a case of they're going to knacker themselves out. So at the space will come, the time will come, and we'll do it. So they didn't allow us to exploit the space behind, but also, again, learning Gyökeres. We didn't quite get the ball out to Madueke, so we didn't make the advantage of it. But then what happened against Porto is that when we did try and push it in the last few minutes, we gave the ball away. Okay, they scored a great goal, but we went 1-0 down. So again, maybe we're learning lessons. Maybe it's just we're learning our lessons, becoming a more mature team. And But then, as you said, and we'll come to it, is that also we've got such options from the bench that if it's not working with the players that started, great, let's replace them, let's do something different, and then they've got to change up what they're doing because we've changed up what we're doing. So, we're in a really good position. So. And then, and look, even Arteta summed up. He said, look, we knew that the first 20, 25 minutes, it was going to be really tough, especially the way they played. It was so intense, a lot of direct players, a lot of duels. And then after that, we started to grow throughout the game. And in the second half, we were much more fluent, dominant, and looked much more of a threat. And that's right. So then in terms of the game, again, it's a really odd one because not a lot. I say the first half. Can you really remember a huge amount actually happening? Was there anything particular that stood out in the first half in terms of what we did in an attacking sense, or maybe what we could have done better, or anyone that particularly stood out?
I think what stood out mostly was Madueke's form from the weekend carried over to this game. He really was trying, but as you mentioned earlier, like when they were defending in numbers, and he was being double teamed often or triple teamed to that. Yeah. But in terms of like a lot of attacking intent that showed that we were about to score, there wasn't a lot of that. The one thing I can see in my head right now, the one clash between I know you'll speak about it, between Jokeris and Gabriel, but there's no comms. But it wasn't a memorable first half. It was a mature, controlled first half in the sense that we held our own, but it wasn't memorable. It's one of those away games, that you're going to struggle in.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and fine. You just got to do it, go in and get the job. I mentioned it at the beginning. So in terms of the booking, so Rice got booked on the 8th minute. Yeah, he went to block a shot on the edge of the box, but I don't know, is that a deserved yellow? I couldn't figure that one out.
I did see people's messages online. I felt like it was it wasn't a deserved yellow, but he was late, and then after the other calls that the referee made in the rest of the game, it made me realize that he's just one of those guys. He's trigger happy. He wants to, I don't know, prove a point or make us an example of. But yeah, I mean, other refs would not give that, but I know that there are refs who would give that.
And actually, then this is the bit that I did miss, because a lot of people were saying online that there was a lot of sort of gamesmanship from the Bilbao players. So potentially he was lucky not to pick up a second, or they were throwing themselves around, and the referee was happy to give them their fouls, but they didn't give our fouls. I didn't, from where we were sitting, I didn't get a sense that they were play acting and throwing themselves around, but I couldn't see the detail. Was there a lot of that going on from the Bilbao team?
There was some, but given the opportunity where they nearly caused Rice to get a second yellow card, that wasn't play acting. That, I feel like that was more for yellow card offense than the first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, oof, Rice, you're on a yellow. And even the commentators are like, watch out, my guy.
Oh, really? Wait, I've forgotten that. What happened? What was that one?
I'm trying to remember. It was in the first half.
Oh, really?
He nicked someone in the first half, and I'll see if I can find the tape. But that was definitely more of a yellow card offense than the first one. He caught someone. I think it was just on his foot, but there was definitely contact. No ball was touched. So there's that.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that close to me getting a second. That could you imagine? Well, maybe it's our year. And the other things I noticed first, I was like, there was the Jokeris header from a timber cross. He just headed it flat, so it went straight. So if he was a bit more central, I think that's a goal. Then he goes and headers Gabriel, ends up with a big bandage on his head, and if anyone's going head to head against Gabriel, there's only going to be one winner there. Yeah. And then there was one chance, I think, for Eze that came. He really good work by Timber and Madueke, and I think he was a bit caught on his heels. That had he actually gone to the ball, he would have been first, and I think that's a goal. But it was a good defending by the defender, so it was a. Yeah, I think he seemed a bit peripheral yesterday. I mean, again, first Champions League game. The other thing, like, he's used to being the main man, so I think he's also trying to figure out who who he is within the team. It's still really early days. He's normally like the main man. He has the ball, he gives it, and then he gets it back again, and now he gives it, and now it goes to another great player, another good player, and I'm not getting the ball back. What do I do now, sort of thing? Like he used to. I'm sure for Palace he did what Odegaard does, was like, when they say you lend the ball, like, he has the ball, you lend it to him, right, I want it back. So it's interesting to watch him, get into it. And then also understanding his players. There was one time, I think it was in the second half, where he laid it off to Gabriel, and then he spun in behind the defence, hoping for the ball, and he said, Gabriel doesn't do that sort of pass. It was Calafiori, maybe, that not Big G. Big G doesn't do that. So again, I think it will come. There's no doubt his talent. It's just, and this is why we need to be a bit patient with this, and we're figuring out who we are and what we're doing and how to make the best of our players. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just on that Eze chance, I don't know if you remember, the referee called a foul after he missed that, and that's when I was like, this referee's a bit weird, because I'm pretty sure Eze didn't touch that ball. But anyways, we won. It doesn't matter. But
no, he didn't touch the ball. He did kick the player, so it was a foul, because the player got in front and he got to it, and then he kicked the player. So I think, I initially thought, oh no, what's that for? But no, it was good defending, and he got nowhere near the ball, I think, and then he kicked the player. So that's why that happened. And then again, like second half, again, there was another Gyökeres header. He's not renowned for his headers at the far post, and it went wide.
He's not beating those allegations, I feel.
No, not at the moment. Not at the moment. But that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
It will come. It will come. But yeah, look, at least we've got someone there doing that. So I think that's like a step in the right direction. But yeah, I'm not going to dig him out, even though lots of people are. But I'm not here for that. Here for that just yet. And then the first major turning point was obviously Trossard coming on and Gyökeres coming off. Just I think Gyökeres is still building up his fitness. Maybe the game wasn't for him, and maybe we want to try something different. So maybe it was have someone who get the ball to feet and then playing the wide men rather than look for Gyökeres over the top, because it just wasn't getting any change. And then the next big thing was Eze coming off and Martinelli coming on. Again, something different, a bit of pace rather than having that. So again, trying to change things. And then within 36 seconds of coming on, it was a Mosquera header to Rice to Trossard, and the flick from Martinelli to take it out of his feet to get it forward was just beautiful. So good. And then he wins the race is clear. And people say it's a lucky finish, but the hardest place for a goalkeeper to save is when it's close to them, underneath them. And he finishes it. Thank God he finished it, because you could imagine what it'd be like if he didn't.
Especially for his confidence. But yeah, I mean, I love that goal, because I think I counted the 6 touches from Mosquera's header to his last touch, which was the shot, 6 or 7. And this is what we expect from Gabby. This is what we've seen him do before. And I'm just so happy for him. Genuinely, I'm so happy. I loved the celebration that they had with Calafiori. Like, look at this guy. He's the guy who you guys have been shitting on. He was definitely looking at you guys in the stands. But yeah, I mean, I love that. And I'm keen for us to score more goals like that on the transition. It's really...
Well, actually, for him in the Champions League, he's 4 of his 5 Champions League goals have come away from home, and 3 of those have been against Spanish teams, and all 3 goals have been exactly the same.
Right.
So Seville, Real Madrid, and now Bilbao, because he's done that thing. So I think the first one, Sevilla, there was one when Jesus set him free, and then obviously Real Madrid last year. A different sort of finish, but still breaking free, and then this one. So actually, again, what a great option to have off the bench.
Yeah.
And then obviously and Trossard as well, and Trossard again being impactful off the bench, because on the 88th minute it's 2-0, and again the subs combine, Martinelli beats his man down the left flank, finds Trossard. Trossard makes a lovely move to get into space and free, and look, he's there. He takes a shot, and okay, it took a bit of deflection. I think it was going in at the far post, but yeah, went in. So sort of 2-0, game over. I think at 1-0 the game was over. I think this game was destined to be 0-0, 1-0. But then that just secured it. And did you actually, before we get onto some statistics about the Trossard, being in the ground, I don't think that we were ever in danger of losing, just because Athletic, even though there was a lot of energy there, they didn't really create anything. There weren't really any threat. What was it on TV? Did you have the same sense? Were you thinking 0-0 or 1-0 to Arsenal type stuff?
I felt that we were gonna crack out a win. I felt that we were gonna score at least one goal. They, as intense as they were, as you said, they really didn't show too much intent to score. Except that one chance in the first half where one of their players crossed the ball from their left-hand side across our goal line. There was no one to finish it, but besides that, there was just I wasn't worried. I felt that we were going to find something somehow, and we did
find a way. Yeah, so Trossard now. So again, in the last two games, scored. Set up 2 and scored 1, both on the bench, and he scored 7 goals for Arsenal in the Champions League, so he's equalled with Mesut Ozil and Dennis Bergkamp, so that's not bad company, and that's fantastic to see. And what's interesting in terms of the two profiles of players, like Martinelli looks just happy to be playing for Arsenal, and if he comes in a sub, great, he scores a goal, great, he's happy. Whereas Trossard, just a miserable git. I mean, obviously he's happy he scores, but it's an interesting the difference between the sort of two subs when you see them. And then so that's pretty much game over. And then in the 91st minute we took off. Was it Calafiori and Madueke came off, and Hincapié and Norgard come on, and what a couple of players, just even for 5 minutes to come on, just to shut down and just to make sure, right, you're not even going to get a sniff. So that's great. And so that's another couple of stats hit. So Ecuador, so Hincapié, the Ecuadorian, the 66th country to be represented at Arsenal, and Norgard is the 921st player to represent Arsenal. So a couple of debuts for those guys, and good to see Norgard is now fit and available, because I think he'll be really, really useful, and a bit like Hincapié, I think he'll be really useful because Arteta alluded to, and you alluded to it as well, the idea of the finisher, and Arteta goes on to say in the press conference afterwards is at the end, the finishers that made the impact for us to win the game. They're at least equally important or more important. We have discussed that the finishers are going to be more important this season, sometimes more than the starters. And look, with the squad that we have and so many different players and so many different styles, again, it might not be about how you start; it's about how you finish them. And it's a bit like that concept of the I forgot what I was likening it to baseball. When they got the finisher, the pitcher, the relief pitcher who comes on like from the 6th inning, 7th innings to finish out the game, and that's it. And they're really important key players, and I think this is how you keep them engaged, because we've got such a squad now. Yeah, so I mean, how do you feel about this concept of the finisher? You buying into it, or are you like Dean Ashton, whoever he is, who's not buying into it?
No, I'm fully bought. I'm fully bought in. I think a few managers have spoken about in the last 2-3 years how, because of the number of games these players have to play, their squads are going to have to be bigger, and it's not just bigger by just having like fringe players, but bigger quality players backing you. And this is what we have now, and it's great to look on the bench. And no shade to Sterling, and I know it's going to sound like shade. But we're not looking at Sterling to come and try to save us. We're looking at arguably one of the best finishers currently in the game right now, was Leo Trossard, and a little speed demon who also wants to prove that he's good enough. Then we have an Ecuadorian, captain sitting on the bench, also trying to get in and take Calafiori's space, and Norgard. Yeah, as you said, like, we shut things down. We didn't give them a sniff, and it's because of these finishes that we had. And I also think Norgard, as you said, he's going to be really important to help this season. And over and above that, Zubimendi is slowly becoming a very key, integral part of the squad. We need to make sure that we take care of him. Some things happen, but we need to, when there's an opportunity to rotate, let's rotate, and Norgard gives us that option. So yeah, I'm fully bored, and let's see how these guys continue pushing.
And I think it's a way to keep the players sort of engaged, and because we have got such a strong squad, and I don't think we're going to be able to sustain this for very long. Maybe 1 season, 2 seasons, because players want to play, and they'll know they'll know the minutes and stuff like that. And look, unless we start winning things, there are players that are happy to do that, and maybe it balances it out. Maybe it means that they're fitter, fresher, able to do more, not playing with injuries all the time. So who knows behind the scenes what happens? But I think it benefits us in so many ways. Is like. In terms of, well, obviously for us, we can change things up. Change things up if something's not working, something's not right. We can change it up. But this is maybe just the role that these players are going to have to play. This is what happens at top clubs, and this is where it's going to benefit as you raise the levels. Because if you think, well, I want to come on because I want to start, and I'm going to show you what I can do, so I will start, and then they'll raise the level, and then you imagine what Saliba's looking at, what Mosquera is doing, or Saka what Madueke is doing. Now, okay, I've picked 2 people whose places are the most secure in the team. but if that idea though that oh shit, I need to up my game because no one's guaranteed. Or I was going to say MLS and Calafiori or in Capia, that left hand side, Calafiori is got that down now, and they're going, well, if I want to play, I need to step up. So when I come on, I need to, and just the levels are going to rise, or well. We're going to find out who will rise and who doesn't, who rises to the challenge, and hopefully it will just lift. There was the rising tide lifts all boats analogy. So hopefully we will all benefit. So no, I think this is good. I'm all for it, and a bit like Rice not playing against Forest at the weekend. Okay, you had a couple of games for England, fine. What are Forest going to think when you come on with 20 minutes to go and you bring on Declan Rice? It's just going to play with the opposition's minds because they're like. Yeah, they're going to be messed up as well. So,
psychologically, it's an advantage for Arteta and how he sets up his teams. As you said, competition is good, and psychologically for the competitor, for our rivals, how do you process someone like Rice not starting? So I'm excited. I'm excited for the season, given how large the squad is, and it's going to be an incredible headache when our players are fit for a month max.
And the fact that and the fact that we're not stressing, like Saka's out, Saliba's out, and we're not stressing it. Of course, we want them to be available, and you will win more games with your best players. But at the and also does this mean then these other players are more susceptible? So the one that concerns me is maybe Timber. But maybe he's fine. Is that sort of thing. So it is what it is, and I think we're in a very fortunate position. And so 2-0 away to Bilbao, got our Champions League up and running. We're second in the table, of course, and we've won now our last 4 European away games against Spanish opposition, scoring 2 goals on each occasion. And prior to this, we had only won just 3 out of 17 trips to Spain. So maybe having a Spanish manager and Spanish players is helpful in that regard. So off to a good start. Olympiacos, I think, up next, and let's just keep accumulating and scoring goals. So in terms of individuals, any particular players that stood out for you, and either in a positive or negative sort of way?
Yeah, I would say Mosquera, again, calm and composed, especially in the first half of the Bilbao press. He just looked at ease, not fazed by the occasion at all. Probably knows Bilbao, but I don't think he knows Bilbao in the US in the Champions League. So shout out to him. I think a lot of players just they had a good game. Madueke again, just really direct, trying to carry the ball forward as much as possible. He just, even though he was being double teamed, you could see this guy was ready to, show who he really is. And I guess show Saka that you're going to struggle to get back into this team. And of course, Martinelli and Trossard. I mean, we can't leave those guys out as standouts because they came in and won the game for us. And I can't choose between them because do they not assist each other? So yeah, I mean,
No,
yeah,
you
and
don't
then
have you don't have to choose. It's fine.
yeah,
On the Madueke thing, and this is going to be an interesting one. So we're all on the Madueke train at the moment because he's showing us something that we haven't seen. So it's like new shiny toy. Oh my god, he's taking on a man and he's getting to the byline, but he's a volume guy, but still no end product. So I feel for him. So he's got no assist or goal yet, and he's maybe more of he's a percentages guy type thing. I wonder how long before this sort of like the sheen wears off. Is like, all right, okay, where's your end product now, mate? Come on, yeah, because we know what Matt Saka's like, yeah,
yeah,
and also he's bought a lot of grace, so but he's an inefficient player. He's a different sort of player. So I think we're all loving seeing this, but it'll be interesting to see, and he causes grief, and he said if he's got two people doubling up, that means other people are free, and things like that. But it'll just be interesting to see where at what point it'd be go like, okay, now we need to see some end product.
yeah.
I think it's going to be a while yet because I think we're going to love it. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how that comes across.
Yeah, let's see. Let us see. And then on the guys that didn't stand out so much, I would say probably Rice after his early booking. I know he tempered his usual aggression, and when I was looking at the stats, it seemed like he just wasn't. He didn't pass the way we expect Rice to pass, but arguably probably related to the press that Bilbao
Yeah,
had. But besides that, yeah, good
yeah, he
game.
did see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
he seemed a bit. He did seem a bit off. Sometimes maybe he's one of these ones that just needs to always be playing. So again, does a rest against Forest help him, sort of thing? So maybe he's going to be like superstar against City. So yeah. For me, then Gabriel at the back just swats everyone away, shuts it down, and like as the captain and just such a leader out there. And Timber again, he's just like, how good is he? Is just like. I think he's a bit of he's a unsung sung hero, as in we all know it. We
Yeah,
all know it that he's got to be one of the best right backs in Europe in the
yeah,
world football at the moment because
yeah.
also what he is now providing a threat going forward. He had the cross for Eze. He had the cross against Forest for Rice. He almost got into the end of it. He's getting there. His defensively, he's just insane. But now going forward, so I said on the last pod, why? So this is a perfect example of two who were evenly matched players. I think Timber's gone up in the pecking order, so to speak, and White has got to say, right, this is now the level I need to achieve and surpass, and that's great for us. Calafiori, I noticed that his game was a bit different. He stayed at home more, or he stayed on the left more. He wasn't like that one time against Forest where he was playing right wing for a few minutes. He was sort of a bit more on the left, but again, I think he didn't have his best game. But again, we're now at the level where even when you're not having your best game, it's still 7 out of 10. So that's fine. Marino was good. I think he knew what he was doing in that environment in that place. I think he knew it well. The same with Zubimendi, bit hit and miss, but yeah, again, familiar. Yeah, so I think again, no one massively stood out other than say Trossard and Martinelli, but still now that means 7 out of 10, which is still very good. So and we keep that consistency, and just any final thoughts on the game?
It's just proud of the boys. Bilbao matched our press and their shots, but we landed the punches. Like we made it count, and that's what the big teams do. That's what the winners do. So keen to see us step it up again against Olympiacos. Obviously, there's City and a few other teams before that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, the
just
mighty Port Vale.
a good away game in the Champions
Yeah,
League again.
yeah. A good confidence booster, and the one last thing before we move on to looking at City is that As a club, everything about the experience yesterday, I really liked it. I really liked it. I mean, the city and the town was superb and very welcoming. The fans seemed great. The stadium was great. The fans were great. Yeah, interesting team. But then on the socials at the end of it, it was a really class act, which I've never seen before. Was that when they actually posted like, "Well played, Arsenal. Safe travels back to London, and best of luck for the rest of the season, Gunners." And I thought like that was really smart. That was really smart. They'd just been beaten at home 2-0, and they're sort of like being very respectful and complimenting us. And that's like, if you think about wanting to be part of a certain club, that's the sort of club that you want to be part of. So it was really nice to see. So I think they've got a fan in me now,
Yeah,
definitely. So
I mean,
I love
they're
that.
gonna respect us, right? Our manager from their region?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
mutual respect.
yeah,
So yeah, that was a really nice touch at the end. I really like that.
yeah. Really good. So there we go. Right, onwards and upwards in the Champions League. So before we get to play Olympiacos in our second Champions League game, we do have some Premier League games. And first up, we have Manchester City, the 4:30 super duper duper Sunday kickoff on Sky. Oh joy, we have Neville and Carragher to look forward to, and there we go. So in terms of City, in front of the nation, what are you looking forward to and not looking forward to as far as the City game's concerned?
I'm not looking forward to, I guess, who is going to start at the back. Mosquera has played well. He's really held his own, but yeah, Haaland is still Haaland. He's still a machine. So I'm not looking forward to whatever happens at the back. But again, I said this twice now. We have the best defense in the world, so I hope we shut them out. That's what I'm not looking forward to. What I'm looking forward to is hopefully Madueke getting some sort of output from the work that he does, because he really deserves it. And also us just smashing City. City is nowhere near where they were 2 years ago, right? So I think they're up for the beating. I think it's possible to beat these guys properly, not just beat them, but embarrass them. Not yeah, embarrass them.
Yeah, why not? I'll take that. Like we did last year. So
Exactly.
it's hard to know what to make of City this season. I mean, what I'm looking forward to, is giving them another hiding like last year. I don't expect it to be a 5-1, but I don't think we fear City anymore. I think we respect them, of course, because you know. Um, but are they our equal? I'm not so sure. I think we're better than them now. We got the better squad. I think we got the better starting 11 or whatever you want to call it. So I think we got to go and show it and do it again and say, right, you come to this place, you don't get to win. So 5-1, and we beat them 1-0 the season before. So let's make it another one. So it's a big 3 points at stake. I said everyone will be watching and judging. But to be honest, I don't care what the neutrals think, as long as we win. Even if we just win 1-0 with a jammy goal like we did 2 years ago, then I don't care. And I don't care what the neutrals think, or don't care what Gary Neville and Carragher tell them to think. In terms of what I'm not looking forward to, is City. You've got to respect them. It's going to be a tough game. We know their quality. We know what Haaland can do. So if we're not on our game, he can do damage. He doesn't need much of a chance, and he can score. So I'm not looking forward to that. A bit like you, not looking forward to see how that pans out. But I think patience will be needed. I said 4:30 on Sunday, so not sleepy lunchtime like against Forest. Everyone's going to be up for it. The crowd are going to be up for it, so the bars will be full beforehand. Everyone will be full of spirit, so to speak. So it'll be a good atmosphere. We've had a good couple of wins, bit of momentum. We've only conceded the 1 goal in 5 games. We should be confident, even if we are missing the likes of Saka and Havertz. Yeah.
So I've just remembered that they've got Donnarumma, and I remembered our last game versus Donnarumma. So that is the number one what I'm not looking forward to. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just remembered.
No, that's fine. But that's fine. We'll get onto the team in a minute because, I mean, in terms of Donnarumma, but we'll get onto the team in a second. But yes, I can see. We're not looking forward to seeing him again because he was probably the main reason why we didn't end up in the Champions League final last season, and
Yeah.
most probably winning it against that woeful Inter Milan team. So yes, not looking forward to seeing him at the Emirates again. So let's see. Before we get to that, in terms of our lineup, what are you expecting in terms of our lineup? Assuming Saliba's fit, what would you say would be our starting 11?
So I think that on our front line will be Martinelli, Gyökeres, and Madueke. Midfield, obviously Zubi and Rice. Curious to see if Eze will start for that, I guess, that creative outlet, or Marino. It is a big game, even though it's at home. It's a big game, so maybe we would want Marino there to be an option, either as an outlet at the top or to support what's happening in the midfield. And then if Saliba's fits, I think he'll probably start. And then at the back, I think Calafiori is holding his own. So I doubt that he's not going to start, and then Timber on the right hand side, just because he is probably our best player right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? It'll be interesting. It depends. Yeah, so I think Saliba's going to be fit, so he'll start. So the back four goalkeeper. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, the two. I think up front we'll have Madueke, Gyökeres, and Eze. I think that's where it's just whether Odegaard or Marino. It depends who's available, or even Waneri, because it's at home. I think the couple of times when we haven't played Waneri, I think it could have been the away games. At home might be different, but it is City. It's a tough one. I've got a feeling he's going to go with the same 11 that started last night. Okay. And then we've got options, because even Odegaard's an option from the bench. Waneri an option from the bench. So I've got a feeling Nelly and Trossard options off the bench. But even if you don't use them, because again, even if these finishers, it isn't going to be the same finishers as you had in the last game, because it's always going to be game state, opposition, how our team are playing. Yeah, so there's loads of things, but we're going to have a massively strong bench to go with. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same starting 11 bar Saliba for Mosquera, and that's no reflection on Mosquera. Mosquera has been amazing since he's come on, but it is Haaland, and Saliba is, no matter how good Mosquera is, Saliba is still the better defender. So let's not get carried. It's a bit like if Saka was fit. Madueke, thank you, but Saka's fit now.
Saka.
So there we go. So let's see. As I said, it's not really how you start; it's going to be how you finish. On to City. So you're right. They've had a bit of a mixed start. They've sort of beaten two relatively inept, poor teams like Wolves and Man United, 4-0 and 3-0. So, but then they lost to their bogey team, Spurs, at home, and they deservedly lost to Brighton over Albion away. I think they've had some injury issues, and I think they're still trying to figure out who they are. This is the first time Pep's had to really do a sort of rebuilding job, and I'm not sure he's really doing much of a good job of it. They've got a few new signings, all okay, quite good in parts, but I don't know together how they're working at the moment. So they're a bit of a work in progress. But you said the main one that we're going to be scared of is Donnarumma in goal. Now everyone, and I was thinking about this beforehand. Everyone's going, but he's no good with his feet. But that didn't stop PSG winning the Champions League last year. So does it matter? Does it matter he's no good?
Yeah, his actual job is to save goals, right?
Yeah.
And that's what he does really, really well. Arguably, like top 3 in the world. It's him, Raya, and Alisson. So it doesn't matter if he doesn't play with his feet. But what's good about that is maybe we'll press him. We'll press him a lot more than we usually press goalkeepers nowadays. Worried about him. Worried about Rangers. I really wanted him to join our team. I'm surprised that we didn't try, or maybe we tried and he's like, I'm going to City. I'm getting paid 600,000 a week, so I'll see you guys later. But I think he's a really good player. He's like the ideal 8. I think he's a great replacement for Gundogan. But Donnarumma, he's a goalkeeper, guys. His job is to save, and we'll see what happens.
But it will be. But then it's a real move away, and even the defense is also all, I don't know, they're not great at the moment, and I don't know, they're just yeah, they're not. There's again, I don't think teams fear them anymore. Yeah, of course you fear Haaland, but he can. Yeah, the time he can be quiet, he can be shut down, and nothing happens. And if he doesn't get the ball, if he doesn't get served, he doesn't get it. So it'll be interesting. It's just the reason why this stands out because it's very unpep like.
Yeah.
Because the previous incumbent, forgot his name now already. He actually got assists and stuff like that in the past, and he was a very big part. He was Edison. That's it. He was a very big part of how they got out there. But maybe he's going to change how they do that, or maybe Donnarumma just enough, and it'll be fine. So yeah, as I said, my reflection point is I'm not going to be too all, galaxy brain about it. I said it didn't stop PSG winning the Champions League last year, so he can't be all bad. But then also Donnarumma is prone to, making mistakes. He's prone to looking small on crosses. So yeah, he's a great shot stopper.
Mm-hmm.
As for the rest, we'll see. I just don't. Yeah, what would be interesting is Gyökeres, the guaranteed penalty scorer, versus Donnarumma, the guaranteed penalty saver. So I got a feeling going to have a penalty on the weekend, and that matchup's going to be interesting because he looks an absolute unit in that goal. So we'll see. So yeah, who else did? I mean, they bought Reinders, Aitnouri, Cherky, Trafford, and Donnarumma, but it feels like actually Cherky's out injured until November now. Marmouche is potentially injured. I don't know if he's going to be free. Aitnouri is going to be out. Kovacic, he's out, and Stones is doubtful. So yeah, there's something a bit of injury crisis. When he's won his ones, it's still Wednesday night. Let's see what team they put out tomorrow against Napoli at home. And again, yeah, they play Napoli at home, which won't be an easy game. Napoli back in the Champions League, the Italian champions. Scott McTominay running around kicking everyone, and it's Kevin De Bruyne coming back to his old club. So there's a lot of narrative there. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. And then yeah, they've got to recover from that. So I don't know. I think they're there for the taking, and we're at home. So it's not like Liverpool there for the taking. So I think we're gonna have to be a bit more front-footed. But I think the crowd need to be patient. By that time, let's work it out, and then let's kill them. So what would be your predictions for how the game's going to go and the score?
Score 1-0. I'm hoping for another clean sheet. I'm hoping for another clean sheet and keen to hear what the Pumas say. We shouldn't care, but they are part of football, and keen to see if they start respecting Arsenal, regardless of, what Liverpool's doing right now. But I mean, as you said, I feel like it's going to be a patient, controlled game. We'll probably take advantage of our corners and our set pieces quite a bit. And I don't know, probably I'm curious to see how Donnarumma will play tomorrow when he starts it's his first game, right?
Yeah.
Curious to see how he played tomorrow.
Oh no, he played against Man United.
Oh yes,
and he made some good saves. I didn't see anything else. But I saw him making some long, good saves and now everyone's going to go, oh, he saved that because he's 10 foot. If he wasn't 10 foot, he wouldn't have saved it. Oh, that bollocks. But yeah.
I think it's going to be a controlled game, and we'll edge it. Hopefully, a bigger scoreline like last year would be great. I just don't see us losing.
Good. I like to hear that. I've gone for 2-1. Just. Yeah, I don't know. It's City, Haaland. I think we'll win. They got the propensity. Yeah, they got the ability to score. They do tend to score against us. And I'm just thinking 2-1. Also, like our best defense, our good defensive record is still good, even if we let in the odd goal here and there. And the more we don't let in, the more likely we are going to let in at some point. So law of averages suggests. So, and look, 2-1, I'd take it. I'd take 1-0. I'd take 2-0, 3-0, all the nils apart from nil for us. And just 3 points is the most important thing. Keep the momentum going. Don't give Liverpool a sniff. I don't know who they've got at the weekend, but most probably they're playing Burnley again, and they'll score a dodgy penalty in the last minute again. And and let's see. So there we go. So let's hope we do the business. Are you going? Are you able to go? You got a ticket or?
No, I don't have a ticket. I haven't been looking on the exchange, but maybe I'll start looking now. Oh wait, sorry, it was my birthday on Sunday. My sister wants to take me out with my nieces and nephew on Sunday. That's why, actually, yeah. So yeah,
but not. But you'll be back in front of the TV for 4:30. I'm assuming.
Lord knows, only the Lord.
Oh.
I mean,
so, wait, hang on. She's taking you out for your birthday.
Yeah,
Surely you need to do what you want on your birthday.
So my nieces are going back to Leicester to university on Monday. So I think that's she was like, let's see what we can do. Maybe I should move it to a Saturday. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Let's see what happens. I might just pop in and be like, hey, I guess I'm here now.
Okay, well, hopefully you get to watch it. Otherwise, you'll have to live it through the Grove group chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kuziva, for being here today. Appreciate your thoughts and comments.
No worries, man. It's always good chatting. Always good chatting after a win. And yeah, hope you get your voice back properly.
Yeah. I'll be back. I'll be need more Lemsip and some Strepsils and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'll be fine. I'll do it. Yeah. It's all for a good cause. Right. Anyway, so look, thank you everyone for being here, for listening. Really appreciate it. You can follow us on Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Smoke Sniggles, I don't know, wherever you communicate with anyone. You can find us at the Grove AFC. The next show will be post the win against Citeh, pre the win against Port Vale next week. And I said, if you enjoy what you hear, even if you don't enjoy, please just rate it highly and comment and a little white lies, okay? And yeah, do that on usual podcast feeds and all the rest of it. So as I said, thank you for listening. Appreciate it. We did under the hour, so that's good. And until the next time, come on, you Gunners.